2015, and today happens to be the day, the International Day of the Girl. And I'd like to cross over this side where I'm going to be having a conversation regarding that. Good morning and good to have you. Welcome. Just in case you did not know that today is the International Day of the Girl, well, it is. Now you know. And joining me is Carol Sherman, who's the Country Director for Plan International, and also Lydia McKenna, who is an advocate and also a member of the Tharaka-Nithi Children's Assembly. Good morning and thank you for joining us. Now, let me start with you, Carol, and basically highlight for us, what does it mean to have the International Day of the Girl?
Well, it's a day of celebration in some ways for us and the whole world, that we really want to focus on the girl and for Plan, particularly the girl child, and how we're going, in fact. I mean, people always ask, why the girl, why the girl? And I think in the last few years, we have made exceptional strides, and we even have on the new Sustainable Development Goals that by 2030, there will be gender equality. And today, while there have been exceptional strides, we do have laws in place in Kenya and in many other countries. We, as girls and women, are still lagging behind in a lot of ways. So we're still facing things like early marriage. I mean, early marriage is a very big issue here in Kenya. Now, while the law says everyone has to be 18, you have to be 18 to be married, we're still finding that it's not the laws always that are in place. When we look at female genital mutilation here in Kenya, again, there is good legislation. And I think today, really, we have a battle and we have a struggle to change, I suppose, the hearts and minds and the thinking and the cultural sort of thinking that today we can do things differently. Today, girls do need to go to school. They need to have an education. And while that might be so in terms of the law of the land, we really do have to get the parents, the communities, the leaders to really buy in, to understand why it's so important, not just for the girl as an individual, which of course it is, but for the family, for the community, for the whole society, that when we have gender parity, we really are making a much stronger nation and bringing human rights to all. And I think that's what we're all looking for.
All right, let me come to you, Lydia, and as a member, an advocate and also a member of the Children's Assembly, what does it entail? What duties do you have?
Okay, it's all about advocacy, talking on behalf of other girls, other children outside there. There are so many things that people, girls and children are facing outside there. Like Carol has said, early marriages, poverty, lack of quality education, access to quality education, FGM, especially in Tharaka-Nithi County, where it's so much because of the perception of people, what they're thinking right now, it has that from the mind. Then it is all about talking on behalf of them as an advocate.
How do you go about your duties of ensuring that you can get that information out?
Of course, it's all on the media at times. Just like I've heard on the TV that there was a lady who was abused by the husband. That is all from the media. Even from the schools we came from, or we're coming from, you can hear people talking that, saying that this is happening to them. This is happening to their community.
Okay. Now, Carol, Kenya apparently, when we compare with our neighboring countries, we're the worst in terms of gender equity. What advice is that?
You know, yes, we rank around 103, I think, as a country, in about 169. So we're not doing too well. And as I said, we do need to embrace the legislation that's here. We need to educate our communities. And we also need programs that really are looking at gender equality. I'm not saying that, for instance, let's look at pay. It's not doing so well even in my country, in Australia. I think there's a 16.2% gender difference in terms of equal pay. So we're a long way back even from achieving those types of statistics here in Kenya. So we really do need to sort of look at the programs. We need to collect data. We need statistics and also information on girls and what's going on, in order to be able to have the evidence of what is working, what isn't working. How do we make programs tailored so that girls can have that access to the education? What does it take? What does it take to get sexual and reproductive healthcare, for instance, and healthcare in general, so that girls and women will be able to access and take those services up. So I think for us in Plan, we know what the issues are, but we don't necessarily globally have the actual measurements to be able to be informed, to really put in place governmental programs as well as other community-based projects that we're working on. So those are the types of things I think that we need to be looking at in all seriousness now that we know a lot of the problems.
Lydia, what are some of the challenges that possibly you have encountered in trying to get this information out? And possibly when you talk about attitudes towards girls, you're from Tharaka Nithi and you've mentioned that there's a lot of FGM. What are some of the challenges that you think you've faced?
Okay, people are not ready to open up and say this is happening in our place. That's a challenge. And of course, offices like Plan may be too far at times that you can report. The Children Assembly is not also at every point of the place, so reporting such a case might be an issue. And then where it is most happening, people don't have, they just have to do it because their minds are set to do it. So it's hard to change their minds. Yeah.
So it could be a cultural barrier that you have to go through. How will you address that? Because culture is very strong and it forms part of societies and maybe even the strength of societies. How do you overcome that?
Okay, through the talking to people is advising them, telling them that this is wrong. Of course, there are people whose mindset are already that this is what is supposed to be done. But of course, at times you have to talk to them, and when it's too much, you maybe involve the police and the government. Okay.
Yeah. Caro, now one of the challenges that she mentions, of course, is access. Is planning possibly to have a bit more access to the officers? Because just like the incidents we've seen not too long ago of the lady who was abused, it's just that she was lucky enough, if I can call it luck, that it came to the public. Otherwise, that would just be another statistic.
We're absolutely working to ensure that girls, women, everybody in the community that are impacted by any sort of abuse can report and has that access. So we're very much working with the government in terms of ensuring that we can actually have a system in place in all 47 counties where there is a standardized reporting system. And it will be also using technologies, simple technologies, mobile phone technologies and applications where people can actually report, and there will be a system whereby in the children's department, for instance, when it's being used, that statistic, those reports won't be lost. They won't sit on somebody's desk. They will keep going up until to the right desk, to the right person, the right place, so that not only can the case be captured and evidenced, but also the right services can be given to the affected and to the community, and where it's necessary also, justice can be brought in as well. Okay, so it's holistic approach to ending gender-based violence, child protection issues that really does need to be captured, and also the service provided.
Now, one other area that girls really suffer is in times of conflict. For instance, with the post-election violence that we had in 2007, 2008, that was an area I'm sure women and girls really suffered. Is there anything that Plan is doing, especially to address times of conflict?
Absolutely, and I think you're right. In terms of conflict, in terms of emergencies, it's often the children and the women that really do suffer. So we're already planning in terms of, with the communities, how to keep communities safe. And I think it's not just in the matter of post-elections or anything like that. We really have to look at this holistically, because so many girls, so many young girls do not feel safe already, and that's not in time of conflict. So we're really having safe spaces. You talk about the culture as well. What we're really trying to do with some of our programs is to ensure safe spaces in the community, and to have safe spaces where girls, where boys, all children can come and talk about the issues, but also connect them with their mothers and also connect them with their fathers, because it's all very well for young people to be able to talk, but then there's a big disconnect between what their parents are thinking. So one of our programs very much is about bringing the families together. Talking, as my friend said here, is such an important thing in terms of being able to speak the unspoken. What was previously unspoken is now being spoken about in order to be able to address the issues.
Okay.
And I think that's happening.
All right. Now, Lydia, there has been a feeling generally that there's a lot of concentration on the girl child and the boy child is being ignored. What are your thoughts on that?
It's very true. Even there was a motion in the Children's Assembly that boys had brought out. We are so much concentrated that there is not even the International Day of the Boy Child. But I think we are not at par with the boys. We need to be there. That is exactly what we want.
What's not at par? What do you think at this point in time is not at par with the boys?
Okay, the boys are more powerful at a point than the girls.
In what way?
Okay, they normally not face what exactly we face. For example, a girl maybe when he's going through maybe something like menstruates and everything, you know, sometimes you lack, like the girls that were at, is it Turkana? They were lacking the access to maybe sanitary towels and stuff. You know, you start feeling like uncomfortable. The boy is in class studying, you're there outside letting yourself down. Yeah.
Okay. And we must admit, Carol, that this fight about the girl child and having equity cannot be won if men are not involved. What are you doing to involve men in this? Because they need to buy into the whole idea. Otherwise, then it becomes a very difficult fight.
Yes, I think I'm always asked about the boy and what's happening with the boy child and are we going too far? And I don't think we're going too far. I think it's really only been since 2011 that we've had a Day of the Girl. And that is because we have been lagging in so many statistics, whether it's we're talking about gender-based violence, whether we're talking about those in the boardrooms in all countries around the world, it's not just in Kenya, who is reflected. We're getting more girls in primary school now than we used to have, so that's a fabulous step. But is that being materialized into the type of jobs that women are going into, or in terms of the CEOs, who are the CEOs of the companies? Nowhere near at a parity at all. So I think it's very, very important. That said, however, we're absolutely working with the whole community. We're working with all children. We're working definitely with men. We're working with the Council of Elders to get their buy-in. We're working with the governors, let's say, in many of the counties that we work with, to be able to also ensure that we're talking the same language, and also they're promoting the gender parity and also the girl child in their own counties. We're doing so many different community sessions with the parents, as I've already spoken about. We've also had in our programs specific sessions for fathers and also the boys, because you're absolutely right. We go together, we walk hand in hand with the whole community, but we still need programs addressing the huge disparity between the girls and the boys. And later, that does translate into adulthood.
Okay.
And we have to also make sure that the girls and women are not accepting it any longer, that it's okay to take a lower paid job, it's okay to be the only person who is actually looking after the children, and particularly the aged or children with disabilities. And it's okay, in fact, to be beaten under special circumstances if their husband is angry about something. So it's a long way to go. It's a long road, but definitely we're walking hand in hand together as a community and as a nation.
Lydia, what is it that you'd like to see different in 5 years to come?
The way that government address issues, really, because at times you'll just say, we need access to quality education, we need access to quality education. You talk to them face to face, but you never see things change at a point. So concentration, as in the way they see things should be changed. They should they should be keen on the child issues. And then the minds of people, the way the minds of people are set should be changed in some times to come. And I think we'll be at a better position as a country, as the girls, what we want, the equality between us and boys. I think if our minds are changed, because it's all start from our families, just from my father, my mother, my uncles and others, it's just starts from there. So when their minds are set very well about the girl child, what is lacking, what should be done, I think it will be at a better position in 5 years to come.
All right,
Yeah.
Carol, what is it that you'd like to see change maybe in the next 5 years?
Definitely, I'd like to see some of the statistics, the data collected about girls and women, to be able to translate that into measurable impact in terms of the programs, what type of programs that really are going to work for girls and for women. So I think those changes are really necessary. I think that, again, as Lydia says, we do need to also work with the community to change the mindset. It's often the mindset that we need to change, that girls really belong here. And one of the things that we've been doing as Plan around the world and here in Kenya is doing a girls' takeover. And the girls' takeover, we've had the girls being a sort of working in the ministry for the day or taking over a TV show for a session. This is to really say, girls belong here. We're not lagging behind. We are here. We claim our rights. And I'd like to see in future that we're really seeing many more girls finishing their education and not being hampered by gender-based violence or, for instance, early marriages, early pregnancies and so forth, and taking up more and more positions in the community, taking up, being able to decide for themselves what they want to do, set their agenda, have access to all the services in gender parity, and really be able to decide and thrive.
All right, Lydia, as we close, what is it that you'd like to do yourself as, you know, what are your ambitions? What would you like to do future in life? Will you be in parliament? Will you be a legislator?
Yeah, I'd like to be the cabinet secretary of women and children in the parliament.
For women and children?
Yes.
Okay, wow. We wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll host you here as the CS. Thank you very much, Carol Sherman. Anything that is happening in terms of this particular day? Are there any celebrations, any commemorations anywhere? Or is it just a day that's secluded for that and have the conversation?
No, there are celebrations worldwide, and as Plan, we've been very, very active, as I said, with the girls' takeover. In this country, in Machakos, we had one of the girls taking over in the county government as the Children's Services, sitting in the office, taking over the office for the day. Here we've had the Director of Children's Services standing up and letting one of the girls that we work with become and get a taste of what it's like to be the Director of Children's Services. Tonight we will be hosting a girls' photo exhibition with the Canadian High Commissioner, and also giving a chance for one of the girls to co-host the evening celebrations.
Fantastic.
So,
well, we wish you all the best. That's Carol
you.
Sherman, Country Director for Plan International, and Lydia McKenna, who's an advocate and also a member of the Rakanithi Children's Assembly. Thank you for joining us this morning. And just a reminder that today is actually the International Day of the Girl. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we have a person of interest, and today we have none other than a social political activist who has used photography to get that done. And we're talking about Boniface Mwangi Sodongo. If you have any questions for him, feel free to send them through. And, well, that's coming up right here on Morning Express.